John, what's working for and against the BYU basketball team and their NIT hopes right now?
Yeah, well, what's working for BYU is that home win over Utah State. That's obviously the key part of their resume. Having a quadrant one win really helps them against some of the other teams further down the bubble in the NIT. What's working against them is the fact that we don't know how many teams are going to get automatic bids into the tournament still. And for those who don't know, what happens is that any number one seed in a one-bid conference that loses in its conference tournament gets an automatic bid to the NIT. And there's still a lot of those to be handed out.
32 teams. BYU's been to this tournament the last 3 seasons. 3 years ago, BYU went all the way to the semifinals. They've won this tournament a long time ago. I made the case earlier, if the NIT wants the champs from way back in the day, 51 and 66, they've got them in BYU. But it's all about this season, right? So what do you think of BYU's resume as it stands and the real opportunity to actually get into the NIT when the dust settles Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on a lot of outside factors, unfortunately. BYU is obviously done playing basketball, and their resume is good, but it's not great, and it's very bubbly for an NIT team in terms of only having that one Q1 win and then also having 4 kind of Q3 losses, which are those kind of not very good ones, mostly on the road for BYU, for instance, at Weber State and Illinois State. And those are the kind of things that are kind of holding them back right now. And it'll really come down to those automatic bids, because if none get taken, then BYU would probably get in, but otherwise it's going to be tough.
Follow John Templon on Twitter at NYBuckets, a contributor for Mid-Major Madness of SB Nation, talking BYU basketball and their NIT hopes right now. John, when you look at specific teams that BYU absolutely should root for, is there anybody that we should be paying attention to over the weekend?
I mean, all of those small conference teams, the ones that I think are in the most peril are teams like Old Dominion and Conference USA, or the Norfolk State and the MEAC, or even, teams out west like New Mexico State and UC Irvine are 2 that, need to win. And so I would think that those are the teams that BYU fans should be rooting for. And the other thing is, if I'm a BYU fan, I don't want to see local Utah Valley go too far in the WAC tournament either, because they're definitely one of those at-large bid competitors.
So just to clarify, smaller conference regular season champions, BYU fans are hoping go on to win that auto bid in the conference tournaments, correct?
Exactly, yep.
We want chalk.
Absolutely.
We want chalk. St. Mary's probably created a spot in the NIT by beating Gonzaga. They were probably going to be in the NIT. So that was an interesting one of note to us fans of the West Coast Conference, I guess.
Yeah, St. Mary's winning was obviously great for the West Coast Conference. I had them kind of as a 2 or 3 seed in the NIT and kind of off the bubble, but definitely going to make the NIT, and then they bumped themselves up. And what that does is it kind of moves everyone in the NCAA down a line, and that's what made maybe like a Florida or Indiana be right on the bubble right now. So, St. Mary's, good for them playing their way in against Gonzaga.
NIT Bracketologist John Templon with us. How much does a brand name factor into the committee for the NIT selecting a team? Because everybody knows that BYU will sell tickets whether they're playing at home or on the road. So when you have to compare teams that are on the very edge, how much of it comes down to resume, and then how much of it is, hey, who's going to draw eyeballs and sell tickets?
Yeah, so the NIT committee, which has been run by the NCAA for a little more than a decade now, has said that they don't consider it, but there's definitely that consideration when it comes to hosting, but I don't know so much in terms of selection around the bubble as much. So teams that want to host definitely have a better chance of hosting, but I think in terms of selection, they really try to pick the teams they think are best, although that sometimes disagrees with what I think, and it's quite possible, that a team on the bubble like a BYU or a Wichita State or some of the Pac-12 teams could get in when I don't think they will.
Okay, let's finish with this. As we like to play a little game on the show, we call it What's the Chance, presented by BYU Food to Go, the MVP of your next event. John, what's the chance BYU gets an NIT bid Sunday?
I put it at about like 25%.
Okay, 25. I think BYU fans will take that. Right now, I don't think they're going to get in, but I'll take a 25% chance. It's better than the alternative.
John, we leave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using the fact that there'll probably be some spots taken up, but not too many, and then there's a chance that I'm wrong, basically.
Hey, John, we leave this conversation actually feeling a little bit better about BYU's chances to get into the NIT. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
We appreciate the time, my friend. Good luck with the NIT bracketology. We'll talk to you again later.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
John Templon on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline earlier today. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.